All those terms down, 3-year rotating basis, so she's out and it's hers. And then with the White River Military, Darren Holder has agreed to serve there, so.
Good morning, everyone. We're going to call to order the December 14th Board of Commissioners meeting. Thank you, everyone, for being here. First off, we're going to go ahead and jump to, actually, yeah, let's go ahead and do an opening prayer first. And I apologize. Yes, yeah. I recognize you in running shorts, but not in jeans. So, Doug, come on up. Thank you.
Will you bow with me, please? Dear Father, we love you so much. And just thank you, Lord, for this opportunity to be here with our county officials and leaders, Father, in this room as they make decisions today. Certainly, first off, Lord, we just lift up all those families affected to the south of us with the terrible, terrible tornadoes and the devastation and loss of life there, Father. We certainly lift up all the ones dealing with that, with the hurt, the frustration, and the pain. Father, the search crews that are still working diligently, and then the long, long effort to rebuild and try to put lives back together. We know that feeling from just the same, very similar experience years ago, and I just thank you for all those in leadership in our county and our city that work together to take care of that in multiple instances. Today, Lord, I just lift up all the men and women representing our county here this morning, Father. I thank you for their service to the community. Father, their willingness to step forth and face decisions. Father, some of them are very difficult. I just pray that they would use their due diligence and make the best decision possible, Father. We're so grateful to live in a wonderful place, Father, a place that is like none other, and we just are so blessed to have so many great leaders. I just pray for them today as they make these decisions in the days ahead. And Father, I certainly pray for our community as we go into the Christmas season and celebrate the birth of your Son and into the new year. It's in your Son's name we pray.
Amen. Amen. Thank you, Doug. Okay, first up, we've got Community Corrections and Diana. Good morning.
All right. Just a couple of things we have for you. Our camera system went out. The server went out, they'll tell you, on our camera system down at the building. And we're needing to have that server replaced. It was initially installed back in 2013. Dale installed it with his budget for security that he had back then. And so we're coming today to see if we can ask you guys for assistance in getting that replaced. He said it's going to be about $300 to $400. He walked out. I just talked to him before he came in. He'd sent us an email. We've actually had no camera security in our building since September. So we're here today to ask about getting that replaced, if you guys would be willing to help us with that. So with the clientele that we do serve in our building, it's kind of essential. We do have evening hours a couple different times a month. Somebody is there after 4 o'clock to about 6 or 7. And this was ability for them to view the cameras to see who's coming in and out of the building in the front. They don't have that access right now and haven't had since September. Julie will tell you. Also, originally we had talked a while back about getting our water heater replaced in our building. The water heater is still not been replaced. We have no hot water in our building, so it has been out for a little while. We'd like to see if there's a possibility that we could get that replaced. The other, I think, will in the budget that we had submitted to you for approval earlier this summer, we had asked for assistance with the paying the licensing fees for the Microsoft, the $250 each, and we were denied that. But I know Judge, in conversations Judge and I had, we wanted to come back to see if you guys would reconsider that, helping us out with that, since we are on the county system and our computers are hooked in with that, and we will need that upgrade. That is for 10 computers, and that would be around $2,500 if you guys would agree to help us with that also. We understand that that may need to go in front of the council, and we will do that, but we just wanted to come back and present that to you to see if you would reconsider the $2,500 so that we could continue to keep our computers upgraded and in the same system as the rest of the county. So,
Okay.
so that's why we're here today.
Do you have a building fund?
No,
You own the building?
no, you guys own the building in your name. We purchased it with project income that we had saved up, from the multiple years that we were housed at the jail because we knew that we weren't gonna be able to stay at the jail and grow our program. So we built our project income fund up, Ron. So, that was used to purchase the building, but per state rules and guidelines through the grant, any property that we buy becomes the county's property. So, the only, reason if it would ever be sold is the money does have to go back to project income, but it is titled in the name of Daviess County Commissioners.
Do you have any project income money left?
We have a little, but we use it. It is 65% of our grant that we do is with project income. So we use it right now for payroll. So we do have a little bit of a balance in there, but with ongoing expenses and the increased insurance and the non-increase in our grant funds, every increase that we make for staff and payroll and insurance has to come from our project income. So.
Mm-hmm.
It's all from fees that we collect from clients who participate in our programs.
Okay.
Basically, you're telling me expenses are up, income's down.
Yes. Yes. So we would just like your consideration in these matters as we move forward into this next year.
Mhm.
Right, they were told to put them in this year, I think.
Yeah. Well, I would, let's slice it this way. Obviously, we got the
Okay.
cameras and the heater.
Yes, right.
I was looking for the budget. Our building fund, I'm assuming we're still got ample amounts in our building fund. I don't have the budget right in front of me. As far as the cameras and the heater, water heater, I'm okay with the
Okay.
county, obviously covering those.
Okay.
And we just pay that out of our county building. And on the Office 365, the challenge we have there, and obviously I know financially you guys are set up differently, so if we need a hybrid model, then so be it. But, for when we've been talking about this for a year or two and then implemented it last year, so this has been a 12 to 24 month thing. So just to get asked on December 14th
Yeah, I understand.
is a little challenging.
But we thought, when we originally did this, we thought it wasn't gonna be due until May, because I had reached out to him, and then when the email came out last week that we were gonna have to, it was gonna have to be paid in January
Okay.
that's why we got on the schedule today.
So if it was May, what's the difference if,
If it was May, we were gonna come to you guys and ask you earlier in the spring, instead of today. Yeah. Right. Yeah.
okay. Yeah, there's plenty in county building to cover the cameras and the water heater. As far as the 365, is there any opportunity, I don't know how your model works, I don't know how your financial statement works. If we were able to cover a period of time, is there a way for you guys to generate revenue with increased fees, or however you guys?
Well, I think we did increase fees just prior to COVID, and I think that's the max that the board is wanting to look at. We are looking at different ways to recover funds by using the TREC system and such. So, but those are fees from clients who have previously completed the program and are no longer with us. We have no way to contact them. We're also working now with doing wage garnishments with clients, so that when somebody comes in and we're unsure of their ability to pay, we're doing more wage assignments with their employer and being able to collect more funds that way. I think as we move forward, the board has directed us to continue to look at that process so that we can make sure that we collect more fees as we move forward. But like I said, with everything continuing to rise and the state not allocating additional funds to us for the programs and the projects that we run.
So regarding the board, the fees, what fees do you?
We collect project income, so every client who comes into home detention pays a $15 a day fee. And then day reporting, there's a $10 and a other $15 fee. So they pay,
Okay.
but like I said, my budget is 35% grant funds, 65.
Yeah, I stay focused here for a second.
Okay.
So, and then on the $15 and $10 and the other $15 fee, generally, how much does that raise in a year, approximately?
We're getting, right now, I think it's 48,000 a month, so you're talking about half, around close to 600,000.
$600,000,
Yeah.
and we're talking about a $2,500.
Yeah, expenditure.
Okay.
Mhm.
Okay. Yeah, so I'm just thinking, I'm just doing some really rough math, so 4%. So if we raise it $2 a day, then that covers the 2,500.
Yeah.
Loose math, but,
Yeah, so, we can look at it, budgeting it, try to budget moving forward, but, when we did the grant application, that was
Yeah.
not original part of it, because we had hoped that it would be covered, and then
okay.
and then that didn't happen. They just don't pay for what they consider 400 expenses.
Okay, I mean, obviously, and again, to be candid, even if you would came to me in April and it's due
Yeah.
in May, I still wouldn't have appreciated that.
And we
short
would have
time-
come sooner.
Short
Sorry.
timeframe. Again, I'm just making it up as we go here. I mean, I'd be okay covering like 6 months worth, and then let's see where you guys are at in April. At the end of the day, I mean, I want your guys' fees, and if it's $17 versus 15, then, I mean, I want to be compassionate with the folks in community corrections, but I'm not sure if that would be rate limiting as far as,
Right. Yeah, for the next 6 months, yeah. Mhm.
buy some time. That's just a thought, I mean.
I mean, it should be self-sustaining, that's the goal, right? Where it covers itself because of COVID,
Right.
comes down, revenues down.
A lot of clients lost jobs or got behind, and
That's something that would probably fit under ARPA, but I don't want to nickel dime ARPA. Want to keep that simple, so no, I'll make a motion that we fund those.
Okay, so we got, and then as far as the fund out of the IT, let's try to look here. I know, Dale
Not
has
in
his
here,
own.
but, so I don't know, are you talking about funding it from the commissioner's budget?
Well, ideally, if we could, that way I don't have to spend Dale's money, so to speak, but if Dale's got it in his budget, I'm just looking through here on what would be germane. I guess the council could decide too, ultimately. So let's do this, let's just, let's just say it's out of the IT budget or a line item of the council's choosing if they agree.
I mean, bottom line is, we decide if we want to fund it, they decide where the money comes from.
That's what I'm thinking too, so. Okay, so I'd entertain a motion to approve the cameras and the water heater out of county building, and then also to approve 6 months worth of the Office 365 out of a fund from the choosing of the council.
So moved.
A motion made by Commissioner Arnold. I will second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
A motion passes 2-0.
thank you.
All right, thanks, Diana. Thanks, Your Honor. All right, next up, the State House Christmas tree ornament. I saw this coming through, so looks, Cindy Barber, Patty Ball, I saw some emails come through. It's one of our
Wanted
beautiful,
to acknowledge and
Yes.
have the commissioners make sure that they knew of the efforts that was made on behalf of Davis County and the representation of the State House on the Christmas tree. So I had received an email and asking Davis County to provide that, and I was, due to family funeral, was not able to do that. So I messaged a couple of people, and Cindy Barber thankfully picked it up and ran with it and did an awesome job, like she does with everything. And then the Mrs. Peachy at the art department at the high school, and what was the other gentleman's name? So they constructed the ornament for Davis County, and Luis delivered it to us, so we are represented at the State House.
So did you take all the credit, Luis, when you walked in with it? Yeah? That's awesome. Now, I saw the ornament was beautiful, and I haven't been in the Capitol with this Christmas season, but in the past, it's a beautiful place to be. So thank you for representing Davies County well, and for taking care of this for us. So thank you. Okay, next up, we have the meeting minutes from November 23rd. Everyone should have received a copy. Were there any changes to the minutes from the 23rd? If not, I'd entertain a motion to approve.
I'll make the motion to approve the minutes.
A motion made by Commissioner Arnold. I will second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
The motion passes 2-0. Okay, there was no highway meeting this morning. We had a solid waste meeting instead. Chris, good morning.
You guys doing a notice of asphalt bids? Or do you want me to read the top thing off here? Okay. The notice of receiving asphalt bids for asphalt in place 2021-2 is hereby given to the Board of Davis County Commissioners. Receive sealed bids for paving various county roads. Bids will be accepted until 8:30 a.m. December 28th, 2021 at the Davis County Auditor's Office, located at 300 East Heffron Street, Washington, Indiana 47501. Bids will be open during the scheduled Commissioners meeting on December 28th, 2021. And we had sent the notice out to everybody already on that E-Verify.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Chris, one thing that's different about that this year is those bids are taken until 8:30 and not 9, so we want to draw attention to that, according to
Okay.
the advertisement. That a lot of times people come for the meeting and just drop it off as they're coming in, but if it has to be received by 8:30.
Yeah, 8:30 a.m. What we've got.
And is it on the website?
Do what?
Is the bid notice on the website?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, I've got a couple LPA vouchers. So I'll read them off. I've got construction engineering for Kennelberg Road, phase 4 and 5 from Lockmuller. The gross amount $37,882.37 with the 80% reimbursable at $30,305.90. Got another one here for Lockmuller, and it's construction engineering on phase 4 and 5 of Bridge 134 on that phase with a total amount of $15,958.18. 80% reimbursable at $12,766.54. And the last one I have here is for preliminary engineering on countywide bridge inspection and reinspection, bridges phase 2. It's from SJCA. The total amount's $1,945.96. The 80% reimbursable at $1,556.77. I've got them due for signature.
Okay. Any questions or discussion?
No.
If not, I'd entertain a motion to sign all 3 LPA claim vouchers.
So moved.
A motion made by Commissioner Arnold. I will second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
The motion passes 2-0.
Okay, I've seen on there they've got the asset management approval letters, so I don't know. I'm still new at this meeting stuff, but I brought my
Yeah.
letters. I don't know if that's what you guys are wanting or not.
Yeah, with the CCMG funding, each county is required to have an asset management tool. And so fortunately, we had one before that program really got launched. So this is just signifying that we've met all the criteria by
Yes.
NDOT.
Yes, I did I inputted all the information and submitted it, and got the approval letter from the payment asset management plan and the bridge asset management plan, which basically qualifies us to get funding.
For the funding. Excellent. Thank you for taking care of that.
Okay, and then I had some gutter quotes for the garage, and we were asking if that could be taken out of the commissioner's building fund. And I think you guys should have copies of them. There's 3 quotes. The gutters are probably, I don't know.
Do you have a recommendation?
Probably just really the lowest bid on there. The guttering on it now is still guttering, and it's,
Is it on your actual office building or
yeah,
on the back?
it's kind of rotted away. It was still guttering and probably 20 years old, and
Mm-hmm.
we wanted to replace it, put some aluminum guttering on it, and make sure they don't put the seams right above the doors, which they do in steel guttering. They don't do that in aluminum guttering, but that's the first place they rot away. And
Mm-hmm.
the low bid was $2,450.
So your recommendation is Neps aluminum for $2,450?
Yes.
I'll make that motion.
Okay, motion made by Commissioner Arnold. I will second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes 2-0.
Project updates. The Candleburg Road is on hold as stated last time. There's nothing new happening with the Montgomery Bridge. The only project update we'll be working on for next year right now is the 4-H parking lot. I think I'd give you guys some information on that.
Do you have an update on that?
Well,
Let me give it a little bit of background.
Yeah.
We had agreed to do that. The project expanded, they actually added more space. And then there were some issues with how it was first designed to where it needs to be designed now. And I think we certainly want to do it right. But we've had conversations with Commissioner Gabhart about the foundation's capabilities. I think you went and met with the board. I
did.
commend you for that.
Mm-hmm.
And they've got a plan on how it would be divided, but do you have an update on total cost?
yeah, the total cost, I figured up material. It was, let me get my page here, I guess. Basically $120,000 for material. I think it was initially proposed to do just a thin coat of surface over the entire lot, which was like $80,000. To do 2 lots, basically there's 2 lots. One lot's $40,000, the other lot was $40,000 for material only. And when that was approved and when we went in to look at doing that, we found out that the base underneath was not sufficient to put a 2-inch lift of surface on it, that it would just fall through. So I went back and refigured it and figured putting some base underneath it, some asphalt base, and then putting a 2-inch lift on top of that, and so that drove the cost up to $120,000 for material. We figured they've got both parking lots there. If we're gonna be there and have our equipment there, it'd actually be cheaper to do them both at the same time instead of you guys approving one and we do one this year, and then later on or next year we do the other one. We've got to take our equipment and manpower back there to do the same thing that's within 200 feet. So the manpower, I figured I could do it in a week, which that's putting a base down on both parking lots and rolling it in and then coming back and putting the surface over it was $18,000. And that was the labor. The equipment would be about $50,000 to rent out our equipment to do that, for the cost that you guys would have in your trucks and your roller and your paver and your pack machine and your broom and skid steer and stuff. So
And
So
it's,
120 for material, 18,000 for labor, and 50,000 for equipment.
And that's the entire thing,
Yeah, that's the entire, it's doing both of them.
and doing it right.
I'm doing it right.
Yeah,
Yeah, the city, the foundation, and the county verbally agreed to, split the 120 in some form or fashion, but, evenly
Yeah.
it was the
Yeah.
consensus.
But I think the county has to be reimbursed for the labor and equipment use, so that needs to be figured out.
yeah, we'd have to for sure figure out the labor. I don't know,
Okay,
we need to get with Grant and see about the equipment, if it can be, if you guys could, since it's inside the county, if you guys could somehow give us permission to do that, or the equipment has to be charged out too, but I know the labor will have to be charged out.
mhm,
So I think on the $120,000 material that was talked about being split,
mhm,
the county would still have a labor bill that's not been talked about being split.
mhm. Okay.
Is that something the industrial road fund could be used for?
That's a possibility, but I think this is not out of the question to go back to the 4-H and say, look, this 18,000, if we do have to bill it out, then the 4-H could, it'd be a reasonable request if we're gonna pick up the 120, that ask them to pick up the 18, and that'd be a pretty good trade out. Because this project's gone larger than we had originally intended, which is great.
Right.
And I've left one of them a couple of voicemails and I haven't heard back, so which is, I may need to make sure I got the right contact info. So yeah, my inclination is on the 18,000s. It's just with 4-H, that's what they would be responsible for. And then if for some reason they can't do it, then we evaluate it then.
Okay,
I think the message is we certainly support the project.
100%,
They're
yeah.
getting the Ts crossed and the Is dotted.
yeah,
And I can contact you and I can sync up offline and I can see who your spokesperson is from 4-H,
Mhm.
make sure, and then I can reach out to them.
okay, yeah, we wanna do a good job. We got there to do it as it was proposed, and I think it was 2019 when it was discussed about doing it, and then some things had changed, so
Yeah.
it wasn't quite as easy of a job, and when we went there to do it, it was not gonna work. So
Yeah.
I actually talked to Commissioner Taylor when we was in the process of doing it once, and we pulled off.
Give the breakdown one more time, please. 120, 18.
Yeah,
what is that?
120, 18, and 50. The 120 was the material total, 18 was a labor, and 50,000 would have been what we would charge out for our equipment. Be the trucks and the fuel and the paver and the fuel and the roller.
Okay. So if you could get us an answer on the equipment, if we have to bill that out, or if it's just labor only, that'd be great. And then if you can send me your contact, once I get the answer from Grant, then I'll reach out to you.
Okay.
Yep.
Then we did finish the West Boggs project that we had done, and I've got a check laying over there. I got to stop by the auditor's office and give them for their portion what they agreed to pay. So they did get that check wrote as soon as they got their funds and got it to us.
Awesome, great job on that project. I've heard a lot of positive feedback.
I've been up there and driven it. It looks very good. I've talked with Jason. And again, that was another situation where you went in and saw what needed to be done, did a little bit of extra work, but did it right.
Yeah, well, with
So
your guys'
appreciate that.
with your guys' approval, I mean, we're gonna do something. I wanna make sure it's done right, and you guys give us approval to do a little bit more, and West Boggs Board agreed to it, and it turned out a lot better, and it'll last a lot longer.
Excellent, great job, Chris.
Thank you, Chris.
Thank you.
Okay, next up, we got the farm lease, number 3. This is an invitation for bids to lease our farm ground. Most of our farm ground was out by the airport. Is that still
In around the
Yeah.
highway department.
in the highway department? Yeah. So do you want to speak to
Yeah,
that?
this will go out, with your permission, we'll go out this week, opening bids at the final meeting of the year. Done this a number of times. Usually it's a 2-year lease. The template that I've sent out is the same that we've used in the past. Sometimes there are requests based on commissioner request or something, but there are no changes. Patty, anything else on that?
Okay, any questions? If not, I'd entertain a motion to approve the invitation for the farming services.
So moved.
A motion made by Commissioner Arnold, I will second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
The motion passes 2-0. So this will go out, so we'll sign this when we select.
Yep.
Okay. Next up, we got this RTC Communications Letter of Support. There's a number of initiatives from Okra regarding the Next Level Connections broadband. So the RTC is one of our local providers who will be submitting a grant proposal for funding to expand the fiber within Daviess County. And this is a letter of support signifying that the county is in agreement.
Yes.
So, any questions? If not, I entertain a motion to approve.
So moved.
A motion made by Commissioner Arnold, I will second. All in favor, say aye. Aye, motion carries 2-0. I'm gonna say that for Michael, to sign on that. All right, next up, Central Dispatch.
And did you, number 7 on your Buggy Fees, did you want to talk
Oh,
about
yeah,
that?
I'm sorry, it's on my paper copy. Oh, and it's on my screen too. Right there, thank you. On the Buggy Fees, what we've tried to do in the past years is create some sort of system where we have a process to evaluate Buggy Fees. Historically, what we have done is the Highway Department, the Sheriff, and myself, we met with the Amish Safety Committee, typically in October, November, just to go over the any issues we're seeing on either side, or and also to discuss the Buggy Fees, the compliance of purchasing the fees and the revenue, and then the offsetting, cost regarding the buggy expenses. So this past year, and with COVID, we have not been able to meet. So we are meeting with them in January. Technically, we would, if we're going to raise the buggy fees, we would technically do that in December. And I think come May, whenever they pay property taxes, is when most of them were purchased. Is that still relatively, or is it a January 1 through 12/31?
Well, we'll start having them come in quicker than you think, but
Yeah.
generally the largest majority of them come in when they're paying the taxes, but we do have before that, so we need it set for the 2022 price for both.
Yeah, okay, so this is, it's a little staggered, because you know what I mean, so just a real quick recap. In 2015, we had 1,870 buggy permits that brought in $112,000.
How much per permit?
Back then, it was around $60, I believe. We recently raised that to $75 2 years ago. And when they did the increased gas tax and 18 cents per gallon, we just used that math, and basically it was $155 per vehicle per year that we pay in gas tax if you drive however many miles per year, according to Representative Soliday's study. So anyway, I just threw that number out to the Amish Safety Committee, that this is probably a number we need to start reaching toward, because our cars probably cause less damage on the road than the horses do. So, but we wanted to be fair. So we focused on compliance initially, because we felt there was a lot of non-compliance out there. So we grew from 1,870 permits to 2022 will be just shy of 3,000 permits, which will raise about $199,000 in revenue. So trying to document how much expenses we're paying on buggy related damages is certainly not scientific. We know the troughing, we know the shoulders of the road, but it's really hard to quantify how much is there. But it's safe to say it's much more than $199,000 a year. I mean, just in gravel alone. So I feel we need to continue to work towards a 155 and take maybe even a little bit bigger chunks as we go on. But this year, I don't think it's fair to raise the fee when we haven't been able to meet with them. But it's just my opinion. And then secondly, and then I'll hear your see what you think. I do think we need to consider going or evaluating going toward like a boat sticker concept, just to dispel any of the myths or rumors or facts, whatever it is, that people are transferring plates from buggy to buggy, and instead go to like a boat sticker.
Surely not.
I know,
Surely
not today's time. But with the boat sticker, obviously that would fix that, so. So that's what we have. So they have self-enforced their compliance. We do have, 1,000 more. My guess is there's probably 500 to another 1,000 out there, but that's just a guess. So, and enforcing it is nearly impossible because pulling a deputy off of their duty to pull over a 13-year-old girl, it's just a little challenging. Sheriff, is that accurate?
That's accurate.
Yeah, it's challenging to enforce it, so it's, yeah, how hard you want to squeeze it, so,
I mean, if your goal is to get to 155 to kind of make it on parity with car license, and even though you haven't met with them, I would not be opposed to raising it just a little bit this year.
okay.
75 maybe to $90. Because otherwise, when you do raise it, you're gonna have a bigger, I would think you'd have a bigger jump.
Yeah, we'd look at it like a
But
3-year window.
I'll follow your lead on this. You're more
Yeah.
in tune with it than I am.
Yeah, I just hate to violate their trust, because I told them I wouldn't raise it without meeting with them
Okay.
first.
Good enough.
So, okay, so, who orders, how do we know what options, do we look at the different options we have as far as the plates or the stickers, or?
We work with Elkhart County on ordering the plates, and then we don't order plates every year to be replaced. We do have just the year sticker on it so that it can be put on that. So I don't know if that
There's a
sticker
sticker on the
itself
plate.
can be used in place of the plate,
Yeah,
so that it would, that, I don't know, Chris, do you think that sticker can be just applied to the buggy instead of to the plate? Well, that's what we do
We'd phase
now.
out the plate and just, you'd do it like a boat, where you have to put the sticker actually on your, it'd be the same size as the plate. You would just go in the back of the buggy, and you would just simply stick over it each year, just like you do a boat.
So-
Yeah. I'll tell them if they get to 4,000, we won't go to the sticker.
So the sticker presently now is just the year. It has the
Yeah,
year
just like a
date on it. It's
car.
just a thin, narrow.
Okay. All right, well, let's do this. We'll look into what options we have. We'll keep everything the same as of now with the plates and just the sticker like our vehicle license, and then we'll look at the different options. I can reach out to Elkhart County. I know the commissioners up there pretty well. Yeah, this wouldn't be till 23, so then I can take some samples to one of our next safety meetings and show them the different options we've got and have them participate, so. So we'll go ahead and, I'd entertain a motion to leave the buggy fees at $75 for 2022.
So moved.
A motion made by Commissioner Arnold, I will second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion passes 2-0. All right, thank you, Patty, for catching that. Okay, central dispatch ordinance. Obviously, there's been a lot of work going on behind the scenes. I know we've got a finance and operations board meeting this afternoon on central dispatch. So really commend Steve and Derek and Gary and Julie, the entire team on blazing this new trail. And we'll continue to work toward that seamless transition and do the best we can, because obviously we want like no abrasion ideally whenever we make this. So we do have the ordinance in front of us here. Part of the ordinance, let me see here. Patty, were there particular points of this that we needed to determine still, or is this ordinance?
In number 4, there was some discussion about rollover and how that will work, and I know Patty had some questions, and I think Julie's gonna speak to that.
Okay, great. Yeah, I'll go ahead and read number 4 as she's coming up. Certain city employees shall become employees of the county within central dispatch as of January 1st. The parties anticipate the added employees from the city will not exceed 5 in number. The county shall credit the employees with the number of years worked for the city, and such employees shall carry over unused vacation and sick days, but shall thereafter receive benefits and salaries offered by Daviess County and shall abide by all policies and procedures of the county. Julie?
I just know it's kind of, it's been discussed between, I've met with the 4 individuals that are coming over from the city. Some of them do have a concern about not being able to carry over their vacation and sick time, and then starting out with, they're gonna be grandfathered in with their years of service over there, so with the county. But, you know, in the times that we live in, somebody gets COVID, all the what ifs of, you know, not having those dates available to cover their times off. You know, a few of them have children. They have to, you know, have things to take care of. This really wasn't a decision that they were able to make. They were, you know, it was either go with the transition or find new employment. So just trying to make things as easily and as fair as possible for them, that they're not being penalized for, you know, having to come over to the combined dispatch. The rest of us that are currently county employees are not having to start over or, you know, deal with these things. It's just these 4 people.
So basically, it's, carrying over the hours or paying out in cash is the 2 options we have on the table.
Correct.
Okay, so carrying over the hours, that's, I'm assuming that's complex, or is that something? And let me finish my thoughts. I mean, with the 4 people, some are gonna want cash, some are gonna want hours, and some are gonna want a hybrid of each.
Yeah, I know, Derek, the chief, has talked to the 4 over there, and, you know, one wanted the payout, one wanted the days, one either way didn't really affect her. The one he wasn't able to talk to.
Because if we can give all 4 of them their own, I'm just talking theoretical here. If we can give each of them the option, you want to carry over, you want to pay out, because we know we can pay out, because that's what we had in here. And if we decide we can carry over.
But that would be the city, I think, right?
I was gonna say
Yeah,
that.
and I do believe the city has agreed to
The city would
pay out their,
Yeah,
their
I
expense
emailed
on that.
Grant and wanted to know whose responsibility that was. Were we assuming that,
Oh, to pay out, it'd be the city. I think the city's gonna would pay that out.
which makes sense.
Yeah. So as far as carrying over the hours, who would we need to ask?
Well, in my opinion, if we're going to do that, we need it documented from the city as far as the accounting side of it. How many hours do they have? Rates, I mean, all those things can be worked out.
And
But
if
it
they
needs-
carry it over, then we get a check for that amount, correct? They compensate us for taking
Well,
on
that's
those
what I
hours.
don't know.
Oh, well, yeah, that's how it would work. I mean, if
Yeah.
there's 200 total hours that you guys are gonna pay out, half of them are carried over, then you would just pay the county for those 100 hours instead of the employees. Because then when they ultimately use them, we pay the
We
employee.
assume the liability.
Because again, if you pay them all out, that cash is going out for those 200 hours.
So there's a lot of nuances in the
So,
details.
which we can work that out this afternoon. So as long as we can carry over the hours or pay them out, we'll figure out the amount and who pays who. We'll figure that out this afternoon. This just allows us the ability to carry them over or cash them out. It'll be easy. It'll be a piece of cake. We'll work out, because we want to give them the option ideally, right? So let's just change this. That says the county shall credit the employees with a number of years, okay, that's good. And such employees shall carry over unused. So this says such employees shall carry over unused vacation and sick days.
Day. And
May carry over, which means they can also cash it out.
your call. This option, or and it's your all's call. And I don't know what your preference is, Julie, or if it,
I just don't want them to be put in a situation where something may, you know, happen that they need these and then, you know, they're not hardly having any days. I know the county, I think we start out with 10 sick days at the
Yeah.
beginning of the year. You know, something happens, you know, if they get COVID, they have to quarantine for 10 days, that's all their sick days for the entire year.
Let's just do it this way. I mean, in the private sector, where I guess we can ask for forgiveness a little easier than in the government sector, we know how much each hour it costs, right? Because again, if you guys pay it out, if we pay them out, we know how much each hour has to cost because we have to pay it out, right? The city. So just give them the option. So therefore, we know how much each hour costs, is what I'm saying. Just give them each an option. If you've got 80 hours, you say, I want to carry over 40 and I want to pay out 40. And just each person just makes their own number and we know how much we're paying out. We know how much we're carrying over. We give Patty the numbers to carry over and then we give you all the numbers to pay out. And then you obviously, then you'd reimburse us for the numbers we carry over. And I think we can get that worked out this afternoon. Let's change shall to may.
Yes, and you might add on there that the city will make the county whole for any liability assumed by the county for the ones that just want to carry them over.
And we need to confirm with the city, that that's what their understanding is as well.
And again, don't let that be a game breaker. This is a great situation.
Good option, yeah.
So it's the fairest way to do it, but don't let it get in the way should they have any issue.
Yeah, Derek, are we kind of flying on the same direction here?
Yeah.
Okay, let's go ahead and pass this, because again, if we need to come back on the 28th and revise it based off feedback this afternoon, we certainly can. Otherwise, we've got a document that's already approved. We can work on the numbers, give Patty the grid as far as what the county's gonna be reimbursed, and then what each individual member is gonna be reimbursed. So,
So you want, after such employee, you wanted to say may,
yeah,
and then we cross out, obviously, the parenthetical at the end, and then there was another, the city, the county anticipates the city will make them whole relative to.
yeah. And then there's just a grammatical spacing issue in line number 4, that same paragraph, between employees and with. Okay, clear as mud?
We're good.
Okay, I'd entertain a motion to approve the central dispatch ordinance as amended.
So moved.
A motion made by Commissioner Arnold. I will second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion passes 2-0. Thank you for your patience. All right, see you guys this afternoon. Okay, next up, Davies County Attorney Contract. I saw an email come through on that. Grant, I believe you and Michael may have been discussing.
Yes, Michael approached me some time ago and talked about this. We had done the current agreement in November of last year, and he wanted it brought up again and talked about and fleshed out. The discussion that he had was a higher flat rate and less billable hours. It's your all's, it's in your all's lap. I sent out a draft document. I've looked at what the city does, looked at what other counties have done, and
Okay.
yes, I sent out a draft for you to look at.
Yeah, I think I saw the draft come through, I think yesterday. I've not had time to thoroughly review it. Ron, have you?
I have not seen the draft. It
Okay.
came through yesterday. It was after I'd received my packet.
Yeah. Okay, let's go ahead and table that so that we can have time to review. And let's go and push that to the 12/28 agenda.
Well, along those same lines, I'd like to hold another executive session. The one we had discussing the county attorney kind of blew up and a lot discussed, so I think executive session.
Yeah, the last executive session, I think it ended with the fact that you two were going to figure out what you wanted, and then we were going to review that. So that was in March. So we've had more executive sessions this year than we have in 6 years. So I'm not inclined to have an executive session. If you have any changes, we can start completely with a blank sheet of paper because it is a very old contract.
It doesn't have to do with the contracts. It has to do with the performance of the county attorney. And I just want some clarifications on things that I think would be better discussed in the executive session.
Yeah, we had the reviews in July, which was a second executives, or in June, which was the second executive session. If there's any further questions, feel free to email them to Patty and she can disseminate them. So we're going to table the contract. Next up, we got the 14 bond issue.
Nathan, could you go back and talk about the Central Dispatch credit card? Julie had requested about that credit card, and that's a resolution that needs to be revised.
I missed over that. Some of mine are blue, and I guess that means there's a hyperlink behind it. Okay, and some are off-centered, so
Yeah,
it's throwing me
if it's
off.
blue, it means you have more documents.
Yeah, so Central Dispatch credit cards. We're going to give them a credit card?
Well, it's been requested, and
I better wait till
feel
everything's like
by
signed, sealed, and
resolution.
delivered.
But
Yeah,
the-
absolutely, absolutely. So,
But also the issue, and Julie may want to speak to this, I don't want to speak in your place, but they're also requesting it for the staff. So I had
Okay.
talked briefly with Grant a little bit about our policy on credit cards. And from the executive body, the credit card for internal controls is growing.
Yeah, typically, I mean, like department heads for sure. As far as individual employees, we don't tend to,
And that was just something that was brought to my attention.
Yeah.
Obviously, in previous employment done at community corrections, there was a few of us that had for training purposes, going to buy supplies and stuff.
yeah,
You know, there will be some training that I will have to send some of my dispatchers to, you know, as far as expenses, you know, booking hotels, if that's,
Right.
you know, warranted, which, you know, we generally try to find close to home stuff. But, you know, as far as meals and stuff, it'd be covered.
yeah. So, yeah, I definitely, that makes a lot of sense. I mean, if it's going, it's all relative on, is this an ongoing thing? Is this a one-term thing? Is this a once-a-year thing? Because we have to maintain all these credit card receipts and.
Right,
payments
and I
stuff.
understand that. And it, you know, if we start out with mine and we can figure out, you know, they can
Yeah.
turn in the receipts for meals and submit claims and, you know, if hotels, like I said, I can
Okay.
book those for them too. It was just kind of brought to my attention that it might be needed for other, you know, maybe
Yeah.
have one or two for staff members in case they have to go to training. I know with our CAD system, they have trainings that are, you know, conferences that are in like
Yeah.
Florida, Utah, stuff like that.
That makes perfect sense, because we don't want them to expend their own cash and have to wait 30 days to get it back if it's gonna be a recurring thing. So let's see how often it happens. And then if you see you have like a power user that you're sending to multiple conferences, then maybe we start with him or her.
Yeah, and there is one that she does go to a lot of the Spillman conferences, and
Okay.
she's not classified as a super user for Spillman, but she does a lot of, which is our CAD system, she does a lot of extra stuff with it.
Okay, great. So, yeah, let's just play it by ear. In my head, I'm thinking if they use it quarterly, then, yeah, okay, let's go ahead and move forward. If it's twice a year, then, you know, it's more apt to lose it than use it. So the second it causes issues in your day-to-day operations, let us know. And I don't have any problem with everybody having one if they need it.
I wouldn't necessarily say everybody, because
But
it's
you
just
know
a
what I mean.
record keeping, yes,
But you
but
know what I
yeah.
mean, yeah, okay. Awesome. So we definitely got yours going.
Okay.
Or we will get Julie's going, right?
Yes, I can request that. We just need to amend the resolution to include her in that.
Okay. And then the credit limits and stuff should be in the ordinance. If there's any
Yes.
issues there, let us know.
Okay.
Okay.
All right,
All
thank
right,
you.
thanks, Julie. All right,
I need a motion on that, and then we'll update
Oh,
the
just for the
resolution
amendment.
and bring it back for signature. Then we also need a motion on the table for the contract.
okay. I'll entertain a motion to table the attorney contract to December 28th.
So moved.
A motion made by Commissioner Arnold, I will second. All in favor, say
Aye.
aye. Motion passes 2-0. And then I'll entertain a motion to amend the county credit card policy to include the central dispatch director.
So moved.
A motion made by Commissioner Arnold, I will second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion passes 2-0.
Thank you.
All right, thanks, Patty. Okay, next up, we got the 14 bond issue. Ron, I think this is one you wanted to
Yeah,
add.
I had received an email from you questioning the issue and responsibility and everything else. I think that's a discussion that probably should be held when Michael's here, so we don't have to repeat ourselves.
Sounds good.
And along with that is, I would like to call an executive session, a joint meeting, probably the first of the year of the commissioners and the county council, to discuss the GPC situation, or as the incentive on their expansion. And I believe that can be done in executive session. So, and I've talked with Tony Duncan and Mike Myers and Mike Sprinkle concerning that, and they would wish for a meeting as well.
Okay, great. Just coordinate that with that Grant. And then I'm sure it will qualify for an executive session once Grant and Patty.
I was gonna say, Patty, can you do that? Get a meeting date, first of the year, a joint session?
And just make sure that the topics are germane to the executive session.
Always clear all executive sessions through Grant for the,
Okay.
sure that it meets the legal.
And that'd be great if we can
Oh.
get together in January. That'd be great. Okay. Excellent. Thank you. Next up, we got the Davies County Economic Development Contract. I think this may have been, Ron, is this what you wanted on here?
Yeah, and again, without Michael here, maybe we should table it, but I would like to, the opportunity for Davis County continues to increase, and I think you're gonna see things bust loose before long, depending on what happens with the national economy. And the edit fund was put in place to support economic development and mainly projects. I think we've kind of gotten away from that. It's like the contract that they just finished out was over 2.5 years, paid them over $400,000. And it's just different than how it was originally set up, and I'd like to get back to the original setup. But again, that's a discussion that probably should be held with Michael.
Okay.
And again, just for some background, the way it was set up before is there was a contract in place, but the only time funds were drawn against that contract, we had to come before the commissioners and the council, so everybody knew exactly where that money was going. And the way it is now, it can be spent on anything that they desire. And I think you also have to consider their financial resources on what they have. And it's just a matter of getting everybody together and getting the most bang for the buck.
No, I think that's great, because that's definitely not how I recall it. So, yeah, let's go ahead and table this to the 28th when
Need
Michael's here.
motions on both of those tables.
Yeah, so the bond issue and, the bond issue, was that tabled, or was that, or were you going to look into the executive session?
Well, the executive session, so,
Good.
but table it until we get that done. We-
Yes.
Okay, okay.
Motion, I make a motion to table the bond issue till we can have an executive session.
I'll second that. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion passes 2-0. And then on the economic development contract, I'd entertain a motion to table that to December 28th.
So moved.
A motion made by Commissioner Arnold. I will second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion passes 2-0. All right, the White River Military Alliance. We have someone who will serve.
We had received a letter, and they're asking who our representative would be for next week or next year, and Darren Holder has agreed to serve in that capacity.
Okay, wonderful. He'll do a great job. And entertain a motion to appoint Darren Holger to the White River Military Alliance.
So moved.
A motion made by Commissioner Arnold. I will second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion passes 2-0. Okay, the Neco Leadership Academy. Yeah, I believe this is, Patty, do you want to speak to this? I know you were,
Yes, this
As
is
for
the
just-
Leadership Academy that I participated in last year. It was an excellent course. So they have sent that information again to the commissioners to see if there's a candidate that you would like to support to participate in that. There is a fee associated with it. I was lucky enough last year to also have scholarship that helped pay for that. But it is an excellent program if you have interest in trying to find a candidate that would benefit from that. I highly recommend it.
okay. Last year we had one that we sponsored.
I was the only one, and you had given me permission, but then I ended up being able to get a scholarship for that.
Okay,
So it actually didn't cost the county anything last year, but there is a fee for it. It is an excellent program. It runs about 3 months.
okay.
A big commitment, but it's very worth it.
So should we, just kind of throw it out there to all county employees that will cover one person? Have them submit who's interested?
Patty, how many do you think might be interested in participating?
I'm not sure. It was relatively new to me when I first learned of it, but there's quite a few across the state of Indiana that's participated in it. I think if you talk to them, they'll tell you that it's a time commitment. So my recommendation to you is maybe, as Nathan said, put it out there to see if there's any interest in it, because it does take several hours a week of your time. But if there's
I mean-
interest in it, they could contact me in the auditor's office, and I could relay that to you, and then you could make a decision from there.
I'm all about continuing it, and again, this is something that I think would be ideal for the foundation to maybe take on. So I would put it out there. I wouldn't want to put that we'll fund one or anything else. I'd want to see what the interest is first. If we have one come back, then that makes it simple. If we have 10 come back, we've probably got a problem.
Yeah, let's do that. I like that. So let's get an email out to all employees on who would have interest in NACO, and then if you wouldn't mind, steering them in the right direction for questions and so forth. Okay, great. Great idea. Okay, next up, we got the opioid settlement registration.
In the past, we took no action. We did not participate with the private counsel or in the state's settlement. At this point, we have to make a decision, up, down, or indifferent. I think we'll have had a chance to look over that information.
But yeah, so, when this first came about years and years ago, and I guess I was a little biased, you know, as a pharmacist, clearly there's a lot of folks to blame in the opioid addiction, and putting 100% of the blame on the drug manufacturers, I thought was just a little unfair, when you also have physicians, prescribers, and patients that are abusing the system. And then this is what leads to higher drug costs, because now $21 billion is going to be coming from somebody, because these for-profit companies are not going to just eat it. So to me, this is what's wrong with the American society personally, but I'm off my soapbox. The money's been awarded, and it's now, do you want to participate or not? If so, we need to register. So I can sleep a little better knowing that we didn't increase this number at all because we didn't participate. But now counties, now everyone's fighting over who gets the money, basically. So do we want to be a party to some of the funds or sit it out?
I've watched the video that Todd Rokita put out there encouraging us to go a certain way. And again, my understanding, we could become part of that and accept the guidelines that they put down. We could sue them on our own if we wanted to, which we're probably not going to do. So, Mr. Schwarzenegger, do you have any thoughts on it from a legal standpoint?
I think we should participate in the state settlement.
Okay, I mean,
Good enough for me.
yeah, I'd entertain a motion to participate and complete the registration.
So moved.
Okay, motion made by Commissioner Arnold. I will second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion passes 2-0. Let's see, next up. Okay, well, is that it? Anything from the audience? Ron, Greg,
No.
anything? If not, I'd entertain a motion to approve payroll claims and to adjourn the meeting.
So moved.
Okay, motion made by Commissioner Arnold. I will second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion passes 2-0. Oh, Merry Christmas, everyone. Have a great week next week.